Here are a few of the craziest female scammers out there. Number 9. Azura Luna. She seemed to have a life like in the movie Crazy Rich Asians, but her life was a big scam. Instead of having a sugar daddy who gave her money when he wanted, Azura decided to scam multiple men so she could get money whenever she wanted. She scammed the rich friends who were around her as well. Once thought of as a wealthy philanthropist in her elite social circles, Azura has become well known as one of Hong Kong's most skilled con artists. Azura spun a life of lies and then scammed them for everything they had. One of those lies included being an Indonesian princess with a wealthy allowance of $150,000 per month, or being highly gifted and attending countless boarding schools worldwide. Azura requested money from these men for multiple reasons, such as needing $100,000 for her dying father or wanting $30,000 for a donation to charities that did not exist. But since we're speaking of scammers, let's remember not to fall prey to any of them by signing up for NordVPN today. It's so easy to use with their one-click protection or 0 clicks if you have their auto-connect feature turned on. Not only that, but they've got over 5,200 servers located across 60 countries, so you'll always have quick, easy protection just a stone's throw away. And by quick, I mean fast. It's been confirmed by speed tests to be one of the fastest VPNs on the market right now. From phones and tablets to laptops and desktops, you can install it on all your favorite devices as well. And if you're an avid international traveler and can't seem to access your regular shows on Netflix, just switch on NordVPN to route to your home country. It'll be like you never left your home at all, giving you access right where you left off. Here's a little secret too. Want to sign up for a streaming platform that isn't available in your home country? Not only can you use NordVPN to sign up from a country where it's available, but you can also use it to shop around and sign up for a country that offers that platform at the lowest rate, saving you money and protecting your internet connection all at once. Who wouldn't want that? NordVPN just turned 10 years old last month, and to celebrate that, you'll be getting a complimentary month for signing up for the 2-year plan plus a free gift on top of that. You might be asking, what's the free gift? Well, you'll be getting either an additional free month, year, or even 2-year plan on top of what you've already signed up for. So sign up today using promo code PablitoVPN or by clicking on the link in the description below, and happy surfing while not getting scammed. Let's quickly get back to Azura. One of those men gave her his American Express Black Card, which comes with a $10,000 initiation fee, and according to Forbes, a $250,000 minimum spending rule to qualify. However, some say it's as high as $1 million. If you're not on a first-name basis with American Express, you probably don't qualify. Eventually, after digging around on a website called the Ripoff Report, many discovered that Azura was notorious for borrowing money from high society friends that she never paid back. But that's not all. Azura also sold a fake diamond ring and allegedly spent the night with the man to convince him to buy it. One of her boyfriends also learned Azura had been previously arrested for selling fake Hermes handbags. The buyer of the bags believed they were buying from Azura's private collection and raising money for a charity. Number 8. Wang Ti. China can be strict when enforcing its laws, and fraud is no exception. No one knows that more than Wang Ti. The wife of a former soccer player, Wang is currently facing a lifelong prison sentence for committing fraud to the tune of 60 million yen, which is currently somewhere around $9.5 million at the time of this video's release. Wang spun a ridiculous backstory for herself in which she was the love child of 2 senior Communist Party officials. This made it hard to look into her background, which was beneficial to Wang in the long run. Wang married Chinese soccer star Wang Sheng and found a taste of the good life. However, a rough patch in the relationship left the door open for Wang to meet Olympic gymnast Zhao Qin, whom she fell in love with and married. It was with Zhao that Wang met many athletes and other wealthy celebrities. With rich connections, Wang began a real estate scam that had those celebrities giving Wang a lot of money to purchase low-priced properties. The properties that Wang sold were not legitimate and were all rental properties she had no right to sell. Wang was sentenced to life in prison in 2013, but can get out in 2035 if she's still alive. Number 7. Jody Harris. The Australian Queen of Con, Jody Harris, was arrested in 2006. She was charged with over 100 identity fraud offenses after police chased her across 3 states. Jody had a thing for police officers and even dated a cop while pretending to be an airline cabin supervisor. The cop thought nothing of it, as Jody had a uniform in her apartment. This was just another one of Jody's scams. She would steal people's uniforms at the gym to use in her crimes. She previously posed as a doctor and psychiatrist, among other things, but had an affinity for impersonating police officers. She even pulled over a young barista, stole her driver's license, and used it to withdraw $3,000 from her account. Eventually, Jody went down when her cop boyfriend was tipped off by one of his colleagues and joined their efforts to bring her in. In 2006, she pled guilty to 43 charges of identity fraud, having bought more than $175,000 worth of items using stolen credit cards, 33 victims. A judge sentenced her to nearly 6 years in jail. Number 6. TRACII HUTSONA. She's a notorious con artist, plain and simple. She started smooth-talking family members and lying early, even stealing her sister's driver's license and opening credit cards in her grandparents' name. Turning her sights from family to celebrities, TRACII kept making up stories, spreading lies. She convinced a car dealership that she needed a car for Arnold Schwarzenegger on a movie set, and they just let her take it. TRACII got busted after stealing over $500,000 in a fake contracting company scam. She was charged with wire fraud and identity theft, but wasn't the only one involved. Her husband was also charged. However, none of it stopped her from moving on to another target, Jacqueline Ellman. TRACII posted couches for sale on Craigslist, and Jacqueline reached out as an eager buyer. After the two got to talking, TRACII lamented that her house had a mold issue, and Jacqueline offered to let her live in another place she owned rent-free. Of course, the mold story was a lie. TRACII was being kicked out of her house because she tried paying the rent with a bad check. It wasn't long before she began stealing from Jacqueline and even opened a credit card in her name. Ultimately, TRACII's husband turned her in and provided the evidence needed for a conviction. He remained loyal for a while, believing his wife of 12 years could never do what they accused her of. However, as the evidence mounted, he decided to jump off the fast-sinking ship. Number 5. KEISHA Williams. In 2018, KEISHA Williams pled guilty to multiple criminal charges. These charges came due to a multi-million-dollar scam that stole over $5.4 million from people investing in a fake business opportunity. With a network of over 50 investors, she was selling people on the chance to double their money by investing in her telemedicine company, a market expected to be worth $64 billion by 2025. Instead of launching her successful software business, KEISHA spent all the money on herself in a manner that one judge described as appalling. KEISHA spent over $1 million on trips to locations around the world, only staying in the nicest villas, hiring personal chefs, traveling in style. But the spending spree did not stop there. KEISHA spent over $1 million on stylish clothes and other items for herself. The lavish lifestyle of crime came at a cost, and KEISHA was sentenced to 15 years in prison. She was also ordered to pay over $5.3 million to her victims for restitution. KEISHA still believes she's a good person who took a wrong turn despite it all. She'll have plenty of time to take a right turn behind bars. Number 4. Caroline Calloway. Caroline Calloway was a social media influencer looking to live a luxurious life. It seemed like Caroline had it all. She scored a 6-figure book deal to write what's called an Insta biography. However, the deal fell through, leaving Caroline $100,000 in debt and needing a backup plan. Caroline began offering seminars on how to be yourself that cost $165 and lasted 4 hours. These seminars, however, were not what participants were expecting. She cut several corners, offered lackluster catering, and seemed unprepared to host a large-scale event. Some called it the Fire Festival of Self-Help Seminars. Caroline was quickly labeled as a scammer. However, she took the label in stride and doubled down, calling her second event The Scam. Attendants of The Scam could drink oat milk and discuss self-love, whatever the heck that means. The pitchforks were out, but Calloway didn't stop there. If anything, you've got to give her credit for her brush-the-dirt-off mentality. She shifted from her healthy living self-help persona to a more X-rated profile during COVID-19. She set her sights on OnlyFans, dubbing herself the Queen of Corniness. We'll let you figure out what that means. She planned to make $80,000 by the end of 2020 to pay off her 6-figure debt. She wound up making $130,000, deleted her account, and seemingly erased her social media presence. Number 3. Ruja Ignatova, the Crypto Queen. otherwise known as Ruja Ignatova, scammed investors out of almost $5 billion and then disappeared. Ruja, the founder of an online adult entertainment marketplace, ran a fraudulent ICO, or initial coin offering. As the woman behind OneCoin, Ruja was investigated for scamming investors worldwide of $4.9 billion. Ruja was flashy and charismatic, boldly claiming that her cryptocurrency OneCoin would overtake Bitcoin as the most valuable crypto. After getting support from many people, and even some celebrities, Ruja disappeared in 2017 and was never seen again. Now, there's a BBC podcast series furthering the investigation into the Crypto Queen's case called The Missing Crypto Queen. In the wake of her disappearance, the public learned how far-reaching OneCoin was. People in over 175 countries invested in OneCoin. She pulled in $96 million from the UK and over $400 million from Southeast Asia. The United States charged Ruja with money laundering, calling OneCoin an old-fashioned pyramid scheme. Nobody ever found Ruja, and her whereabouts lean heavily on speculation. However, that doesn't mean more scams aren't popping up in the crypto world. Check out this video for the full story on Ruja Ignatova, the Crypto Queen. Number 2. Tanya ROWE. Born in Britain, Tanya claimed she was many things. She was an heiress, property developer, high-class interior designer, model, and even a barista. But in reality, she was a con artist. In fact, she's one of Britain's most accomplished con artists. Her most common con was parading as a wealthy Italian heiress set to inherit a multi-million-pound fortune. She used this con to trick people for over a decade. Her first scam involved reaching out to a woman's magazine to run a feature on her and her battle with cancer, which she never had. But that's not the only scam Tanya ran. She conned her dates out of thousands of pounds by claiming she needed money while her accounts were frozen. She also told these men that she was just getting out of rough relationships and needed their help. Not only did Tanya lie to the men she was scamming, but she also lied in court. She said one of her victims was paying for her adult favors, an accusation that he denied. In 2016, Tanya was found guilty of 14 charges of fraud, 1 charge of posing as a barrister, and 2 for having forged documents. She was sentenced to 5 years and 3 months in prison. However, this was not the end for Tanya. After being released early, she quickly returned to scamming and was again convicted in 2021 for having forged documents related to her relationship with a wealthy older man. She again claimed the money he gave her was for adult favors, which he, like the ones before him, denied. After promising to stop scamming, a judge sentenced her to another 15 months. We'll see if that promise holds any water. Number 1. Bruna Christine de Castro. The tabloids nicknamed Brazilian model Bruna Christine de Castro the Barbie of crime. While she may appear like a sweet girl on the outside, she's everything but. Over 100 people claim Bruna scammed them out of money over the internet. Basically, Bruna sold items to people online, but never sent them anything. Often blaming health or family issues, she even scammed her ex-boyfriend out of money by pretending to be her father and claiming to have cancer. Bruna was convicted of scamming people over the internet, a common occurrence that lands most scammers behind bars. However, this was not Bruna's first rodeo with internet scams. Brazilian authorities convicted her of purchase fraud in 2015 for selling fake phones online. Bruna and the courts played cat and mouse for the next several years. After missing 6 hearings and all of her community service appointments, she was sentenced to house arrest in 2021, a notable compromise because she's a mother to 2 young children. When it was time to appear in court again, she and the kids conveniently got COVID. Bruna claims to be sorry about her actions. However, her failure to comply with court orders leads many to believe she's not as sorry as she claims. Click here to watch one of these next videos.